Impact and Diversity. He earned his BS in Mathematics and dual degree in Engineering at Morehouse College. Dr. Ford went on to Georgia Institute of Technology, where he earned a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering, a Master's of Science in Mechanical Engineering, and a Doctorate of Philosophy in Mechanical Engineering. Dr. Ford is an Upward Bound alumnus from the University of Akron, and we thank his nominator, Colleen Curry and Deborah Stone, for introducing us to Dr. Ford. With great pleasure, I'll introduce you to Dr. J. Chris Ford, 2013 TRIO Achiever.
Thank you very much. It is truly an honor to be here. I'm touched by the MAEOPP program and my family from the University of Akron, Ms. Deborah Stone and Ms. Colleen Curry for nominating me. Honestly, I feel too young to get an award right now. You know, the Upward Bound program and just what TRIO programs is, it's an amazing program. This is my first time really having a chance to look back and all the things that had to occur just to get me to this place. And I get emotional thinking about it because I'm so full of gratitude because, as the African proverb says, it takes a village to raise a person. And I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge my beautiful older sister Angela and her husband Eric, Glenn. Who are Upward Bound graduates as well. And we met at Upward Bound. Upward Bound is a place to reach a spouse. I wasn't so lucky. But I really, I'm so full of thanksgiving of all the work that you've done. Ms. Stone, I'll tell the story before I get to my prepared notes. She met me when I was 11 years old. You think about, as educators, as influencers, the impact you make on a young person's life. And some of the things she said, I remember she was always a beautiful, statuesque woman and carried herself with such dignity and pride, and just how she inspired us. And those elements of that carry with me today. I'm so full of gratitude and kind of putting this all into perspective. I'm working in Washington now, the Department of Energy. I have to always keep in context the policy and the laws that are behind certain things. And this year we celebrated the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington. August 28, 1963, on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a Morehouse graduate, delivered the I Have a Dream speech. Activism on that day translated within a year to policy. It was a March on Washington for civil rights and for jobs, economic opportunity, and led to legislation. Think about the Civil Rights Act and the Economic Opportunity Act, which led to the TRIO programs. One speech, one march. Now, his dream is manifested before us. Think about that. I have a dream that one day my 4 little children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. That we will sit at the table of brotherhood, white men, black men, Jews, Gentiles. Right now, his dream lives in us, in TRIO. Right now, manifested right before us. Now, don't get me wrong, I work in Washington, I see institutionalized racism every day. I see classism. I see poverty. I see the disconnection of why certain communities aren't getting access to federal resources. I see politics and how that impacts and creates poverty. Poverty is not an accident. The Bible says there will always be the poor with us. But to the poor, Jesus said, preach the gospel, the good news. And the good news is TRIO. it's real to me because it impacted my family. One of the programs that came out of Economic Opportunity in 1964 was the Head Start program, which I participated, my younger sister participated in the Upper Brown program. In my family, I have a PhD. My younger sister, Natoki, has a PhD. My older sister has a master's degree. That was the intention. You know, I work in Washington with the same intensity because when we pass laws and we make decisions, it impacts lives. Yeah. And I think we've gotten lost right now in this society for the wealth and material gain that we forgot about people. We forgot about the sensitivity of when we make decisions, how it influences lives. And so I've been so fortunate to stand on your shoulders, to be given an opportunity in Washington to make legitimate changes. Yeah. You know, I work in the Office of Economic Impact and Diversity at the Department of Energy, which gives me access to minority communities and communities that are unserved, where I can one day be on Capitol Hill with politicians saying, you need to change this law. Or I can go to the DOE National Lab and say, you need to pour your resources to this community. See, we don't live in an age anymore where racism and social classism is no longer overt, it's covert. It's in this system, it's in the DNA, it's in the economic fiber of this country. Beginning when we came here on Plymouth Rock, beginning with slavery, it translated itself into our policies. And a lot of people aren't educated enough on our history to understand how that impacts our lives. I learned about African history from Upper Bound. So I can talk to a politician, I can talk to a scientist and educate them on the science or the business acumen, how what they're doing impacts community. Sometimes that's lost. I had the privilege, you know, and I'm not even on my notes. I've had the privilege in the past year to advise the President's Council, President Obama's new management council on economic impact. And I presented some ideas and visions on how we can take this innovation economy that we're walking, this global innovation economy, and how we can use it as a tool to economically rebirth communities. We're in a global competitive race, and I feel like I'm the voice that's crying out in the wilderness. Because what we have in this country, when we in this room may not be so aware of it, our politicians come from the Harvards, come from the Georgia Techs, the MITs, the Berkeleys, who have never tasted poverty, who have never had to struggle. And so when they hear issues of underfunding the TRIO programs and underfunding to minority serving institutions, they don't understand. That's right. And so I had the privilege last week to sit in front of the Secretary of Energy and explain to him. Because now I have a PhD from Georgia Tech. Now I have the qualifications. And now they were here before. And explain to him why minority serving institutions and STEM education programs need more funding. Yeah. And how we need to now reinvestigate how we're funding programs and how we can use the more than 18,000 patents from the Department of Energy to be translated into businesses in our communities and retool our education system. That's the dream. See, now from the words of Martin Luther King, and I have a dream. That was the thing. Everyone had talked about, we all have a dream, and our dream is to help carry on that mission. I know my cause. See, the benefit of TRIO, this is the infinite blessing from TRIO it did for me was I've never lived one day in my life not living my dream. Not one moment ever remained outside of my dream. When I first heard about TRIO in the 6th grade, and I saw college, I saw the opportunity, I said, that's what I want, and that's where I'm going, and by any means necessary, I'm going to get there. You know, and that is such a blessing. Because I saw my mother and my father work so hard and work jobs, and it breaks my heart. You know, when they're retired now, they're okay, but it breaks my heart because of, you know, the outcome of certain policies and the generational trickle down of oppression and slavery. And that's, it breaks my heart. And so I live with that passion. And so as I move forward in my goals and my dreams, and I carry TRIO in my heart. I do, so part of my job is I help create businesses and investments for business. I work in the Department of Energy, and I heard debt. So I always think of business term debt versus equity when you're putting together a deal. I don't want to get into finances, but TRIO has an equity position in my heart. Meaning all of my actions and all of how I move and how I live and breathe, there's a position in my heart to help benefit these programs. Because I'm a living example of these policies and your work and how they benefit our country. I'll close with some anecdotal things about how it's impacted. Now, there's some material results that you'll be reading about, hopefully here very soon, in the newspapers or publications, because we've started the Department of Energy, an initiative called Minorities in Energy. And it's to attack and the institutionalized racism, and to attack that and elevate the need of this $4 trillion industry of energy and how it is going to change this world, how we can get more underserved and impoverished communities to participate in. I just got an agreement from an investor to agree to $100 million to invest in minority-serving institutions to get them to modernize their campuses and underwrite technology transfer from the national lab to work in their campuses. I've set a goal to raise $500 million. Why? Because the Department of Energy, the greatest number of they ever funded minority serving institute was in 1996, and it was $50 million. So I'm going to go 10 times that. So as I close, I want to just encourage you, keep fighting. Keep fighting in your darkest moments. Know that every decision that you make is helping to advance a dream that is bigger than all of us. Thank you.